I made some changings before we get started. I did make some changes to the settings. I'm gonna make sure we are live wherever it is we're supposed to be live. You two can chit chat for just a minute. Honestly, nobody really wants to um, know what it is we talk about before and after the show.
What do you
Although
got, Chris?
I got my bubble tea. Can't Cammy got it delivered because yay. Yay bubble tea. It's a good dinner
You know,
substitute when you run in late
I've never
because
actually had bubble tea.
I'm very sorry.
What does it taste like? Is it just
It
like
tastes like
tea with?
tea, but inside it. Okay, have you had tapioca pudding
Mhm,
ever in your life? Okay.
mhm,
But and the tapioca is like itty bitty, right?
uh-huh.
Okay, picture you can't see it yet. When I get the tea out, you'll see it. Picture a tapioca pearl, but that it's like this big.
Is it that weird consistency, like mushy?
It's no, it's not mushy because it's just the tapioca pearl. It's not the like the pudding around it. So it's big and it's like it's chewy. It's not mushy, it's chewy.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, if yeah.
I'm a texture person.
Oh, okay. Then maybe not because then you're drinking tea and expect a liquid and all of a sudden you're like snack.
Yeah, no, that'd freak me out. I'll take the Dr. Pepper.
It can bubble teas can also be really sweet too.
Mm.
I like sweet. Well, obviously. Doctor, it doesn't get much sweet in Dr. Pepper. It's like essentially sugar and water.
And a
Well,
little bit of flavor in it.
you can
Yeah.
get it less sweet.
What's the fun in that?
No, seriously. If I'm having bubble tea, I want like mango, pineapple, green apple. I want, don't give me like real tea and bubbles in it. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Oh, I've had
no,
Earl
man, it's just like
Grey. I've had Earl Grey
lumpy
bubble
tea.
tea.
Isn't it just like lumpy tea then?
I'm gonna have to agree with Angie on
I'm
that.
going to
That
say no only because it's not the tea that's lumpy. It's not like it's congealed bits of tea.
But it's tea with lumps in it.
anyway.
It's
Shall we?
tea with delicious lumps in it.
Shall we get?
Delicious little lumps.
Shall we
Yeah,
get on point?
yeah, we have a topic. We have a topic. I like to think it's a good topic, not just because I said this is what we're talking about today, God damn it.
She did. She said that.
In those words. Now. All
More or
right.
less.
So we talk a lot, and especially Mary talks a lot about having our service agreements for our clients and how important a service agreement is because it sets expectations. It sets expectations, it sets rules, it sets boundaries. And we get that. We get how important that is to do with our clients. But somehow, when we go about our day-to-day lives and we say work a booth at a convention or do other work or help out at a friend's shop, somehow we forget that. And we forget that contracts are good. And we think, oh, well, we're friends, so we'll be fine. But then if we don't communicate, one friend thinks one thing, one friend thinks the other thing. And because you didn't sit down and have that contract because you thought it would make the friendship weird, now you have no friendship anymore. And that's
possibly
bad.
a whole load of legal problems.
Yes, especially if it's an employment issue.
Well, I have two business partners. And Pia and I were partners first. And then when Christy came on as a partner, so Pia and I had a contract between the two of us. And then when Christy stopped being my groomer and became a third business partner, we then redid the contract, and it was a three-way contract. And it's a lovely contract. And it covers my butt, covers their butt, covers everybody's butt. and it covers everything. It's like creepy exhaustive.
Right, but it sets everyone has an expectation.
Yeah, it says right there in the contract what your expectation should be.
All right,
Yeah.
so then what, you don't have that he said she said. Well, she said I would get this, and she said you would do that. There's none of that because it's detailed.
No,
And
it's
then
all
we'll use the trade show. We'll use the booth as an example. Okay, and we honestly and truly, any example we are going to be really vague booking on it because it isn't anything in particular. All right. It's sort of like a compilation of the things we have seen over the years, for lack of a better word.
Because I've heard it I've heard it more than once. I've heard it more than 2 or 3 times. And working at booths is a good example. And I got really, really lucky with Evolution Shares. And while we never put anything in writing, we did have a clear agreement of what I would do and what I would get paid. And so many other times I've had people come up to me and be like, I got a thank you and a hearty handshake and a thank you. And I was expecting a check. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah.
yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, being clear about what from both points, because you know what, from the from each side of the perspective, I guess I want to say, right? So from the vendor, like, yeah, I asked for some help, but you weren't clear on A, what the help was, what it entailed, the number of hours it entailed, and what the compensation would be, because you know what? You're making the vendor money.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you're, just to be clear, when you're working or helping out a vendor, even if it's something as simple as helping out, you need to be very clear with them the amount of hours they want you in the booth per day, because they could be thinking, oh, 2 or 3 hours and I'll give them some product, which is fair. Or they could be thinking, I need them all day Saturday. And if you're going, oh, I'm going to spend 3 or 4 hours in the booth and then take classes, there's going to be not happiness going on right there. And neither of you are going to get what you want.
Right.
Okay. So let's also dive into, you're a business owner and you're helping out a friend and you pay him under the table. Okay. Because you're helping out a friend, and then that friendship goes south. And who's on the hook with the IRS?
Yeah. That would be the business owner.
Yeah.
That would be the business owner.
And when you hear things online, please remember there's 2 sides to the story.
Yeah.
You know? Someone just said everyone.
It just says Facebook user to me. So
Yeah.
hello person. I'm sure we know.
Hold on a second. I will find out.
Okay. And it's kind of like a prenup.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, hear me out, because obviously I didn't get a prenup because I didn't have a pot to piss in when I got married.
Yeah.
But as a business owner, you have assets to protect. Oh,
Hey,
hey, Chrissy. Oh, we're talking to you tomorrow.
Oh, did you hear Chrissy just got 100,000?
Yes, I saw that.
I did, and I was
Congratulations, lady.
stoked. I was stoked for her, and my second thought was, I got to ask Mary how many we got. God damn it.
56,000.
Woo!
I was like, the first thing I did. Oh wait, she got 100,000. Let's go check our numbers.
Damn. Go, Chrissy. Obviously, well, okay, now you know Chrissy's going to be a guest coming up on the Traveling Groomers podcast, which we're recording tomorrow night. In case, Mary, in case you didn't know who was going to be on tomorrow.
Well, I don't know. The only thing I know is that you told me you book people through March, and I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she is a traveling groomer.
And I have a lot of names in my head, so I think we can pretty much keep going all year.
Okay. I'm cool with that. You're setting it up, so it's good. So, anyway, so you have the whole employee stuff, and then there's the setting up expectations for your business. This is why I am such a huge proponent. Sign those terms of service. Let your clients know what it is you expect from them and what they expect from you. Okay, and you may not ever need them. Or in the case of Angie, you didn't need it for 4 years,
And then we did.
and then you did.
For those that don't know the story, I had taken Mary's classes before I had a salon. And she said, you need term service. So when Mary says, do this, I go, right. So I had that the day we opened. We had terms of service, all the things, and sign here saying you got the terms of service, blah, blah. Okay. So we have all those in the filing cabinet. And 4 years, which 4 years today, my salon has been open. Never needed it, was never an issue, was never a thing. Until last week, when a woman came back an hour after she had dropped her dog off and said, all right, I'm here to pick her up. And my business partner, Pia, said, you dropped off an hour ago. And she said, yeah. And Pia said, it's a 3-hour minimum. It's in the terms of service, unless you book an express groom. If you book an express groom, it's more money. You did not book an express groom. So, well, I want to see what's done. I want to see what's finished. So I went out there and I was like, look, I need another half an hour. You wanted a haircut. This dog is a biter. She's difficult, and I charge her accordingly for all of the stuff. And I said, it is a 3-hour minimum. It's in our terms of service. You got the terms of service. I have a signed contract saying you got the terms of service. It was part of your customer intake forms. And she literally stomped away. You could hear her in the parking lot. Stomped to her car, slammed her door. Oh, very angry. Okay, whatever. So I finished the dog. Took me another half an hour. So the dog was there an hour and a half. And so the dog was done. I brought her out. I'm like, okay, here's the dog. Come pay. And she said, well, I went on your website when you went back inside. Okay. And I read the terms of service. Okay. And you were right. And I was wrong. And it says that it is a 3-hour minimum. And I'm very sorry. And will you please groom my dog again? And can I please make another appointment? And then proceeded to tip me 50% of the groom fee. So out of my pocket, I pulled the next appointment card and handed it to her. Here you go. Thank you very much.
I love it when people realize that they've been a little stupid and take ownership of their actions and just go, yeah, I did this. Sorry.
Yeah. So I called Mary on the way home and I was like, I love you. I love you, Mary. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because
And just on that note too, everyone needs to hear a little bit of appreciation. So thank you, Andrew, for that. That was nice.
it was 4 years in the coming. But if not for that terms of service, do you know how that would have turned out?
Yeah.
Because she gets a bath and eaten, it takes an hour. And because she is a wild child, she does take 2 people. I mean, but she takes an hour. So because it took an hour and a half, she was getting a haircut, which she had gotten in the past and apparently forgot it took an hour and a half. If I didn't have that terms of service, it would have been like a poo fest. There would have been yelling and screaming and
1-star Yelp reviews.
right. well, we don't do Yelp, but once our Google review, just the same. But instead, she was like,
Oh, listen, and I'm going to put this out there for in case anybody has not done it yet. If you have not claimed your Yelp business, don't.
yeah, I have not, and I will not. And you told me that in one of your classes like 4 years ago. That's why I haven't done it.
Don't.
Because
you
then
know?
they can't do bad Yelp reviews.
Mhm.
Well, the thing is, then it's just this random business up there. There's nothing there. There's nothing. It could be anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it lends a lot of problems. All right. Don't list your business on Yelp. All right. Because it gives you an option. Hey, you got a business? List it with us. Yeah. No, please don't do that. Google is different. Google is you need to have the Google listing because that helps with searches, but Yelp doesn't offer that.
No, it's kind of like blackmail. They blackmail
Mhm.
you for the reviews. It's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not amused.
No. But yeah, you had mentioned that in one of your classes. So that's why I don't have a Yelp.
I unfortunately do. It's still sitting there.
There's
Okay,
one.
they look like weird little grapes.
Yeah, that's one big one stuck to the bottom. Well, not big. They're all that size, but yeah, they're very tasty.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it.
Thank you.
I don't think it would be my cup of tea.
It was not my sister-in-law's cup of tea, and she loves tea, and she was like, everybody was always talking about it when I was in Toronto, like they love it, and so I brought her some, and she did not like texture with her tea.
That's my thing. Yeah. That's
Looks like a science experiment. No, I don't know. We had different experiments. Mine didn't look this. My science experiments didn't look this good.
Okay. Anything else we want to add?
I'm just going to say normalize it. Normalize talking about it. Normalize if you're doing business with a friend. I know we don't want to talk money with friends, but normalize talking about it just so that you guys are both on the same page. Because I guarantee if you have a miscommunication where you're expecting like one thing and they're expecting to pay this thing and you talk about it beforehand, even if it's weird for a little bit, that's not going to be as weird as if you do the thing expecting this and they're expecting this and you're like, no, I need this. That's harder to come back from.
You
It's
know, follow some of the other industry leaders. All right. The trade shows. Speakers get a contract. All right. Some contracts are more convoluted than others.
yeah.
Yeah, you can tell who has more lawyers
Yes.
working for the organization. And
Yeah.
I shouldn't admit this on air. I might not read those as carefully as I read the others. And those are the ones I should be reading really carefully.
Oh, those are the ones.
Those are the ones I really,
Really
but I'm
careful.
like, I start skimming. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay. What am I initialing? Oh God.
Yeah, it's extensive, some of those.
Mm-hmm.
I was very surprised. It was 4 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy mother of pearl, I'm just giving a class. what is but it's everything is detailed, everything is covered. So I give them props because everything is covered.
Yeah, but and I'm going to give props to Barkley right now because I just got the contracts for the Tacoma show, and it is clear, it is to the point, it's what they expect. All right, and it's in big letters. Okay, so it's not like this little tiny print. Right, you can actually read it.
I like things I can read.
So,
Yeah, things you can read are good.
That's why my terms of service, because we have so many elderly clients, my terms of service is actually in size 12 font when you print it out. Because
A size
everyone
12 is
elderly.
not that big.
It's substantial.
It's substantial, but I'm only saying that because I like size 12 font because my monitor's way over there, and when I'm working on it and I'm not elderly, that's why I say it's not so big.
Sure.
Is normal. 10's tiny. Fuck you. Oh, I forgot this is the one I don't cuss on. So.
Since when?
Since I seriously, since
Oh.
when?
Okay.
I think I maybe
we can roll the tape, right?
Oh my God.
I killed her. Oh.
Oh, sweet Jesus. That
Oh,
was
I'm
funny.
sorry.
Oh, I don't swear on this one. Okay.
Well, this is the one I make a little more effort to be more professional in because we discuss businessy things.
You buying this, Mary?
No, not at all.
All right. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not. That doesn't. I call shenanigans.
And on that very professional gesture she just did. Yeah, and I'm assuming that's Chrissy. Yes, read all the contracts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously. So in that tiny print, one that we get from the ones that have all the lawyers, and it's definitely legalese that we're reading. I think the first time I read it, I had to read it 3 times.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you are unsure about a contract, there are lawyers that you can get for 1 hour online. And you can send them stuff to look over, and it'll cost you like $45.
Mhm.
And they'll look it over and then go, blah, this is the English version of that. And then you go, thank you very much. So I should sign this.
I
And they
can.
go, yeah. Oh, okay. So that was Judy.
Oh,
Brenton.
that's
Yes.
it.
Oh, that was Judy.
That
Yeah.
was, hey, Judy.
So yeah,
Oh,
they'll
Judy,
actually
Judy
explain
knows
it
exactly what we're talking about, right?
in words that you can understand. They'll spit it back out to you. And so you're like, so this is okay? And they're like, yes, that's okay. You can sign that. Thank you. And it's $45. And it's just, if you look for lawyers online.
All right. So
have
what about the
lawyers in your
services
area.
like Legal Nature and Legal Zoom? Do they also offer that?
I don't think so. This is like you put in the chat. So like you go on lawyer. It's like Lawyers Online, I think. I've used it a few times. And so then you say, where are you? And it's like, oh, I'm in Massachusetts. I'm in central Massachusetts. And they say, okay, what is the issue?
Okay.
Well, I have a contract I need looked over, and it's for business. And then they say, waiting to connect you. And then like a lawyer pops up, and then they ask you the details. You give them the details. They say, all right, I'll get back to you in about half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, however long it's going to take. 5 minutes.
I totally just pictured a lawyer just popping up like a gopher.
Pretty much. They do. They just like ding on the screen. They're like, hi, I'm so-and-so. Okay, great.
Rocket Lawyer is what came up on a Google search.
Okay, so maybe that's it. And they pop up, they read the thing, and then they're like, okay, this, can you log back in? What time are you free? Blah, blah, blah. All right, so you log back in, and they go, okay, this is the the English version of what the goop you just sent me. And after you pay them, they're like, it'll be $45. Do you want to pay $40? And I'm like, yes, I want to pay $45. I want to know what this says. And then they say, oh, it says this. Great. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So would you sign that if you were me? And they go, yes. Wonderful.
Yeah. So Judy was the one for the WPA when she was the head of the what was it, the grooming services, where she actually had to read and understand before she sent it out. This way, if anybody asked her some questions, she could actually answer them.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't.
Super important.
Sent that one off to the lawyer because I was like,
I have no idea what this says.
Yeah, I just, is this what I think it is? And if it's not, can you tell me?
Well, and Judy also makes another point. There are several things on contracts that I asked them to change. All right, but again, you had to read it to understand it to know whether or not that would work for you.
Right. So,
And take your time reading it, because I can usually read legalese, but it takes me like an hour to go through a contract and like translate it and go, okay, what does this mean? Oh,
yeah.
okay, got that. Yeah.
And the other thing is, when your time is at a premium, you have X amount of hours in a day.
Yeah.
Which I do, to do X amount of things. I'm not going to spend 3 hours to try and puzzle that out. I'm going to pay, as Mary says, hire someone to do it for you if it is not in your wheelhouse.
Yes.
So I do. And here, you read it, figure it out, tell me if this is okay. They read it and they said, oh, looks great. Wonderful. Thank you for your time. Here's your $45. Have a nice day. It was worth it. So I knew what to expect and I didn't have to spend the time because my time is better served doing something else.
Like working on your business and not just in your business.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're coming up on our half hour. I just want to make mention that this weekend, Sunday, Monday, is the Energetic Summit. So we have 2 days with Melissa Conti Diener, who always is a treat. Randy Sands is going to do a 4-hour class on animal communication. Kate Klassen is doing something on music. And we have a yoga instructor coming in and to do a session on yoga.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this one. The music one is like,
yeah,
I'm really,
I'm really looking forward to that one too.
And Kate is on my on my schedule for a future guest for the Traveling Groomers podcast as well.
Cool.
Nice.
As well as somebody else, Angie.
Was that?
Yeah, we're going to have to discuss that because I just looked at the timing on that. We're going to discuss that.
Okay. So shall we see everybody next week?
And Judy, if you're still there, bye, Mom.